Metroid Dread is dreadfully great. This is a great experience, and in this game you obviously play as Samus and you are getting the conclusion of her adventures supposedly in the 2D Metroid universe. And I say that because it gives you a nice recap of all the other previous 2D Metroid entries for people who have never played those games before, or people like me who played them a couple of decades ago and kind of forgot what they were all about. Suffice it to say though, it gives you a story. It's a nice story. It's not the best story in the world, but it's good for the Metroid universe, and that's where I'm going to leave that. Because this game is awesome, if I'm being quite frank. This is a top tier Switch game. If you're wondering whether or not to buy this game, you should absolutely go buy it. It is worth $60, and I'm about to explain to you why. What I really liked about Metroid Dread is it just kind of oozed with that nice Metroid feeling. This game plays a lot like a nice smooth Super Metroid from the good old days. It incorporates a bunch of elements that you experienced from the previous entries and makes them feel familiar and yet fresh. The ambiance, the environments, the way it presents itself, the presentation right off the get-go is just stellar. It's so good. It just wraps you in and just makes you want to go and explore it and get frustrated at puzzles that were so blatantly obvious yet you somehow couldn't figure it out. I have to tell you right now, there were plenty of instances where I spent a good 15 minutes trying to figure out where to go next, only to figure it out and facepalm. Literally facepalm, because it was so obvious. And that's what I like about the puzzles in this game. I heard a lot of critics and a lot of people saying, oh, they're not that easy to figure out, or they're completely obscure and all the stuff, and I just don't believe that. This game will in fact guide you to the correct locations if you let it, but that's kind of the beauty of Metroid games, and especially this one in particular. You don't have to follow the set path. You can go any direction you want. You can try to explore and discover new things. You can even sequence break the video game itself so you can get power-ups sooner than you should. How you want to play is entirely up to you. In my first playthrough, I let the game dictate where I should go. I let the way they designed Metroid Dread to be played originally, to let that be the way I played, and I didn't really have any issues. And part of that could be because I've experienced these games before, but part of that could also be because I actually paid attention to what they told me at the beginning of the game and I followed the instructions. A very difficult thing for people these days to do, to listen and follow instructions. One thing I will say that bothered me though were the load times. Whenever you go between area to the next area, you get a nice long loading screen, and they're not bad loading screens. I mean, the artwork is cool, but my goodness, I was expecting elevator music during these sequences. I was also kind of tired of always having to fight the Chozo warrior robot dudes. They always came about, and while at first they provided a good challenge, after you fought 5, 6, 7, 8 of these little mini boss fights, they all have the exact same attack patterns and they just weren't that exciting anymore. But the actual main boss fights, on the other hand, were plenty exciting and amazing and challenging and just so exhilarating, and I couldn't get enough of them. I think these are some of the best boss fights, honestly, I've played from any game in the last 5 or so years. They are that good. I mean, they kind of rival the boss fights that you get from games like Hollow Knight and Cuphead. If you like those types of boss fights, well, great news. Metroid Dread will provide you with boss fights similar to those ones. Seriously, I couldn't get enough of them. Just give me boss fights from Metroid like this any day of the week, baby! And then there were the horror elements. Of course, running around from the Emmys is always fun and exhilarating as well. And just when it starts to get a little bit tedious, the Emmys up their difficulty. They start becoming more aggressive and more tactful in their approaches to try to kill you. And I love that. I love everything about this game. I love the parry system. I love the awesome powers you get, which are just like the other powers. Well, like I said, while they're all familiar, they're also useful. They also feel exciting still when you find your next item, and then when you defeat an Emmy, you just feel so good about it. Then you go to a boss fight. When you finally conquer the boss fight, it just makes you feel on cloud 9. Everything about this game is designed to reward you and to make you feel accomplished, from its level design to its puzzles, from the boss fights to just running away from the devil itself. All of this creates a wonderful, awesome, and unique experience, and like I said, this is a top tier Nintendo Switch game. So for Metroid Dread, my letter grade is going to have to be an A minus. Like I said, I really wanted to give it an A, alright? It was like that close. It was such a tough call, and I might change my mind here in a few months, but I love this game. I absolutely loved it. Other than the Chozo warrior dudes, and other than the gosh dang load times that you will have to frequently see, this game is awesome from head to toe, and I loved it. I love everything about this game. It performs well, it runs well in both handheld and in docked. It looks gorgeous. If you have a Nintendo Switch OLED, I'm sure it looks amazing on that. I've heard it looks amazing on that. I don't have one myself, so I can't verify that though. Anyways, you get the gist. Metroid Dread is a must-play, one of the best Switch games out there. Pick it up, don't skip on this, it is worth your time, it is worth your money. And that, my friends, concludes this Overrated review. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I persuaded someone somewhere to pick up this game. Let me know what you guys think if you've played Metroid Dread down in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout, and have a dreadfully great day.